Thank you, Mayor Wolf. Our first speaker is John. John, as I promote you to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
John Rubia, speaking of CBCA, John Rubialis was our
Thank you, Mayor Cloven. As a representative president of CBCA, we had some comments we'd like to clarify in regards to the last city council meeting. The Clayton Business Community Association has existed since 1984. We are a charity, not a department of the city of Clayton. Our motto: for the good of the Clayton community. We have lived up to this motto through our well-known festivals, bocce, holiday decorations, Mrs. Claus, and many other efforts. The profits from our events are put back into the community in the form of grants, scholarships, and public improvements, to name just a few. That we have been able to do this is due solely to the countless hours donated by our members and thousands of volunteers without whom we could not exist. For many years at our monthly meetings, a member of the Planning Commission and City Council, who are also CBCA members, gives a report on what the Commission and the Council have done since the previous month. That information includes votes that have been already recorded in public meetings. At the Council's May 18th meeting, as part of a public hearing, Commissioner Frank Gavidia, with the support of Councilman Diaz, asserted the Planning Commission members were announcing Planning Commission decisions at CBCA meetings that were not already available to the public. Commissioner Gavidia asserted that, quote, a private organization that happens to give money to the city gets to find out the result of votes before the rest of the public. When Councilmember Tillman asked for a basis of the give the money the city comment, Councilmember Diaz gave an example of CBCA donating money to the city. So the city can install benches and trash receptacles downtown. Commissioner Gavidia's accusations were an egregious and purposeful attack directed to CBCA and everyone who is or ever has been a member. It is also factually false. The commission vote at issue was taken at a public meeting on February 23rd and was therefore known to the taxpayers at the moment the vote was recorded. 2 days later, at CBCA's general meeting on February 25th, Commissioner Shapiro reported on the commission's public vote from 2 days earlier. Commissioner Gavidia was not present at the commission meeting because he had recused himself from the commission's consideration of the project. As to giving of money to the city, CBCA does not and never has simply given money to the city of Clayton. CBCA has donated tens of thousands of dollars for public events and improvements over the decades. Donations approved in votes of our membership. Those donations were project specific, and were not a gift of money to the city treasury. Just that CBCA has bought preferred access information is ridiculous. Commissioner Gavidia is a current CBCA member. Councilmember Diaz is a longtime member who himself has given council and planning commission reports. We feel that they both need to retract the false statements, same public forum which they were uttered. Thank you. And Councilman Diaz, thank you for your clarification tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you, John. All right, Janet, next up.
Our next speaker is AJ. AJ, as you're promoted to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
Hello, City Council members and staff. My name is AJ Chipero, and I'm a citizen of Clayton, as well as the current chair of the Planning Commission. I'm speaking tonight in defense of a false accusation leveled against me by another planning commissioner. At the last open public city council meeting on May 18th, Commissioner Frank Gavidia made the following statement. So CBCA members found out about the results of the vote before the taxpayers of Clayton found out. That did not make any sense to me. A private organization that happens to give money to the city gets to find out the results of the votes before the rest of the public. That's just not right. End quote. If what Commissioner Gavidia said is true, then I expect the City Council, as well as the City of Clayton, will take action against the Planning Commissioner accused of providing results of a vote to the CBCA before it is available to the public. Being the Planning Commissioner in question, I can assure you that what Commissioner Gavidia is accusing me of doing in that reckless statement is false. The vote count I reported on to the CBCA membership on February 25th was a publicly recorded vote at the open Planning Commission meeting that took place 2 days prior to the CBCA meeting on February 23rd. Any single member of the public that attended that meeting or watched the video replay could have provided the same report to the CBCA that I did on the day in question. While Commissioner Gavidia may have been exercising his right to free speech by commenting as a citizen during the portion of the city council meeting, he is also a current planning commissioner that was acting irresponsibly by making reckless accusations against the current chair of the planning commission and the CBCA. Left unchecked, these accusations may have caused irreparable damage to the city of Clayton, the city's planning commission, and the CBCA. This begs the question, does Commissioner Gavidia have a responsibility as a current planning commissioner to refrain from making false and damaging claims by spreading seeds of misinformation? This was not an uninformed citizen making false accusations against the chair of the planning commission. This was a current planning commissioner that knows what he said was not the truth. Before we go down the road of whataboutisms, this allegation was not one commissioner being rude to another commissioner on social media. Although that may have been in poor taste, it is nowhere near as serious as the allegations that Commissioner Gavidia made against the CBCA and myself. Now, based on Commissioner Gavidia's sparse statement to the CBCA, he shows little remorse, offered no apology, and did not admit that what he said was incorrect. Due to the nature of these allegations, Commissioner Gavidia's actions should not be left unchecked, and he should be held accountable. Unfortunately, Councilmember Diaz whitewashed that statement quite a bit. So I am urging the City Council at minimum to censure Commissioner Gavidia. I feel a far more suitable action would be for his removal from the Planning Commission. I thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, AJ. Excuse me.
Our
Janet?
next speaker is Keith. Keith, as I promote you to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
Keith, you're on mute.
Okay, I believe I'm unmuted now.
There we are. Hi, Keith.
Okay. All right. I'm also going to follow up on some comments already made as to comments that were made at the last city council meeting on May 18th. At that meeting, Planning Commissioner Gavidia accused the members of the CBCA, having found out at their meeting in I believe it was February, the results of a vote taken by the Planning Commission of the city of Clayton before the taxpayers of Clayton found out. This claim was false, as you've already heard this evening. The results that were actually referred to there occurred at an open public meeting that was held by the Planning Commission 2 days earlier. The meeting was held via Zoom and open to the public, and anyone observing the meeting would have learned of the results of the meeting at that time. So the sharing of this public information by a member of the Planning Commission was sharing information already available to the public, not prior to the public learning about the results of the vote, which was charged at the meeting held by the city council. Commissioner Gavidia went on to infer that the CBCA found out about this vote before the rest of the public because the club happens to give money to the city. The city has donated to many, many civic projects and activities, such as Daffodil Hill and the Concert in the Grove Summer Concert Series. But the club does not, never has donated money to the city of Clayton for inappropriate access to non-public information. And Commissioner Gavidia did not share any examples of his claim. Both these claims are false and misleading and challenge the integrity and honesty of both the public city of Clayton and their Planning Commission and the CBCA. I think Commissioner Gavidia owes the city of Clayton and the CBCA a public apology and a retraction of his incorrect accusations to help repair the damage that these statements have caused. In connection with this issue, City Councilman Jim Diaz also owes the city of Clayton and the CBCA a formal apology due to the examples that he provided for the accusation that the CBCA gives money to the city of Clayton, which appeared to support the inference that those direct payments to the city resulted in the CBCA receiving non-public information from the city. But again, no actual examples supported that claim, and he did not dispute the claim on the call, and with both of which damaged the city and the CBCA. City Councilman Diaz is a long-term member of the CBCA, and he served multiple terms on the city council. And he knew or should have known that the impression he created regarding incorrect CBCA donations was false and very misleading and damaging. As a result, I think that Councilman Diaz also owes the city of Clayton and the CBCA an apology for this damage that he has caused based on the incorrect impressions. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Janet, do we have anybody else?
Next speaker is Terry. Terry, as I promote you to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Terry.
Hello.
Hello.
Alrighty. On May 23rd, 2018, a group of 5 people launched the Save Clayton website and Facebook site and immediately began to use it to spread misinformation and attack members of the Clayton community in support of city council bids by Jeff Wan and his running mate and a planning commission bid by Frank Gavidia. Following the 2018 election, the misinformation and attack articles by Save Clayton ensued forward, though casting the net wider to additional community members and the local newspaper. Personally, I believe they're behind the propaganda flyers that have been spread downtown, as well as the letters mailed to 3,600 Clayton homes recently. Over the last 3 years, I've watched this group and those that they support plant false seeds into cyberspace and watch the misinformation grow like wildfires. And for what? The claims of corruption and ulterior motives by members of our community that Frank and his Save Clayton colleagues always allege have never proven to have any validity. I believe Frank Gavidia's recent attack on the CBCA and his fellow planning commissioners was not accidental. It was the same flavor of the baseless attacks on former council member Tuya Catalano that he authored on his campaign website, and not too different than the writings of his Save Clayton friends. Only this time, they chose to plant their seed of false allegations against the CBCA, an organization that works so hard to give back to the people of this city. People of this community are fed up with these antics. Frank, as a CBCA member and a planning commissioner, you know better. You know that what you said wasn't truthful. Why did you choose to spread this lie? Frank, you owe the CBCA and the people of Clayton an apology, and I hope you'll do so for the sake of your community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mayor Wolf.
Thank you, Terry. Janet, do we have anyone else?
Mayor Wolf, at this time, I do not have any other hands raised. Oh, one just went up. 2 just went up. So Bassam, I will promote you to panelist. If you can please unmute your microphone.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Bassam.
Good morning, good evening, Mayor Wan. I just want to mention that City Council 1 and City Council Diaz and then candidate Frank Gavidia asked for my removal from the Planning Commission for my statement misread by them multiple times, even after being corrected, against the police for the Black Lives Matter march. They accused me of giving a misstatement, and they wanted my removal officially on the record and unofficially as well, with conversation with the city. What Commissioner Gavidia in public said about the CBCA is false and a lie, and accusing another commissioner, the head of the Planning Commission, of that is just simply, again, it's false and much worse from what Mr. Diaz and Mr. Wan accused me of doing. Would Mr. Diaz and Mr. Wan have the courage to do what they attempted to do against me, against Mr. Gavidia? I'm gonna asking for that again. Would they have the courage, or is it just a political game for them? Thank you.
Thank you, Bassam. Janet, you said you had a couple more hands went up.
I do. I have 2 more hands raised. Edward, as I promote you to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can see you too. Hi, Ed.
Okay, excellent. So thank you. My name is Ed Hartley. I'm a longtime CBCA member. I wanted to point out that the CBCA submitted a detailed 4-page letter to the mayor responding to the events that occurred at the May 18 council meeting. I'd like that acknowledged.
and made part of the record tonight. The comments by Commissioner Gavidia, who is a current CBCA member, were a direct attack, and there's no other way to put it, as to the integrity of CBCA in its relationship with the city. CBCA's bylaws have forever precluded the CBCA from taking part in political advocacy in this city. We don't do it. We have never done it. And the comments by Commissioner Gavidia directly attacked that with no basis. And Commissioner Chipero has laid out the factual context of that, which is laid out in more detail in the CBCA's letter. Councilmember Diaz's comments do not address and are in no way a retraction of his supporting comments of the CBCA giving money to the city. The CBCA does not buy influence. It does not buy information. And the suggestion that that occurred is a disservice to the hundreds of members and thousands of volunteers who give of their time and effort to CBCA to help it raise money to give it back to the community. And what is needed as a result of the comments and the supporting comments is a clearly stated retraction of those statements. And that has not happened tonight. And so this does nothing to heal the unfortunate but purposeful attack on CBCA, and it needs to happen because CBCA as a community service organization exists at the trust of the community. And if the community cannot trust CBCA, then we do not have reason to exist. And that's why it is very important in light of the statements made tonight and the comments made tonight that this be retracted forcefully and clearly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Our
Jen?
next speaker is Scott. Scott, as you are promoted to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
Hey guys, just wanted to thank you, ACW. Thank you all for your time. We've heard a lot tonight about last week's CBCA meeting and about the actions of Frank Gavidia and current council member Jim Diaz. I'm not going to get into the weeds because their actions and their words, honestly, were very, and their intent was obvious to all who heard them. When I think about this community, about the divide in it, I keep hearing people on all sides talking about how they want to get Clayton back to what it once was, how to keep it the quaint little town that we all love so much. Yet what I continually hear from people on all sides of the aisle is that all of this divisiveness started back in 2016 and really got worse during the 2018 election. What changed during that time? We all know what changed nationally, but what we have here now in Clayton is a microcosm of exactly those types of behaviors. People who will bully others, people who will attack members of their own community online, people who will foment divisiveness just for their own agendas or maybe even for their own entertainment. This is what has changed, and this is what we need to get away from if we really want to get back to everything that once made Clayton great. We're still all of those things, but we just need to work through these poor behaviors brought about by individuals who are doing nothing but to serve themselves. Mr. Diaz and Mr. Gavidia, you have already been asked to deliver a public apology at CBCA, and you have both miserably failed in that first attempt. The community needs to see a lot more from each of you. The CBCA does nothing but to raise money and deliver resources to this community, and you have tried to impugn their character for your political goals. All we heard last Thursday night, and even more pitifully again tonight from Diaz, was platitudes, explanations, and excuses. I expect more from both of you, and I'm very disappointed in both of you. Mr. Diaz, I honestly expect a lot more from you because I know that you actually do a lot for this community. So I hope that you'll be willing to deliver a proper apology to the community and to the CBCA in particular on your third attempt. Mr. Gavidia, you have a long history of creating false narratives and political situations out of things that are anything but. It is clear what you were doing here to me and to many in the community, and I encourage you to continue to indict yourself. Some people have the distinction of running off a sweet dressmaker that spent 28 years giving her entire life to this community. We have the privilege of somebody so uniquely qualified as to be a land use attorney, and you chased her off as well. And you chased off the likes of Mindy Gentry just because she didn't want to deal with your stuff as well. Well, you know what, guys? I'm sick and damn tired of it. And I'm not going to watch you chase off any more good people that want to just serve Clayton. It's time that you stand accountable for your actions and stop delivering divisiveness to our community, plain and simple. I've been saying this for over 2 years now, and it seems to be catching a little bit of wind. If we really want to get back to being the best version that Clayton can be, we need to save Clayton from the Facebook group Save Clayton. Thank you all for your time.